These are wild days as we come to terms with the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, COVID-19. And I think it's interesting to see the ways in which people are dealing with the transformation of their lives. In many ways, this transformation is mostly harmless. People are being asked to stay at home, and many people would prefer to have more time at home if they could. And of course, the impact in many ways is very negative as well. But it's the context in which we view our reality that can dramatically impact the way we feel about events as they unfold. We're pattern-finding primates, so we're generally looking for some kind of cause and effect, something that we can attribute meaning to because it was caused. And very often we look for causes that are beyond our control, because if it's beyond our control, then we can't be responsible and there's nothing that we need to do. And in many ways, not having anything that you can do about a situation is deeply reassuring. It reduces stress and anxiety, and it allows you to just get on with it. But ultimately, there has to be an emotional root to our action, whether that action is staying at home and getting fit or not getting fit, or just carrying on with business as usual in your work, or choosing to connect with people or choosing to withdraw from people. There has to be an emotional root to that action. And although our emotional terrain is really complex, there's a lot going on that influences the decisions that we make. Ultimately, I believe that our feelings always boil down to one of two original sources, if you like. One is fear and the other is love. And I think if you review the decisions that you're making, and importantly, if you review the way that you're interpreting what's going on around you and the ways in which that interpretation influences your decisions, because the interpretation changes what you think is happening. And then once you've decided what's happening, you make a decision that seems reasonable. But it's that skip from interpretation to believing that things are facts that is so important. Once you think it's a fact, then the analysis is often over. So I think it's relatively easy to look at what's motivating you in any given moment, whether it's to get up and exercise or read a book or talk to somebody or forgive something or whatever it is that you're doing. It's relatively straightforward to ask yourself, am I driven by fear, which is closing off and protective and preventing harm and perceiving the expectation of harm? Or am I acting on the basis of love, which is infinite and indestructible and ever-flowing? And love doesn't run out because it's not a transaction when you love someone. If you discover that the decisions you're making are triggered by fear, if the signals are there that it's a fear-based decision, well, fear is a very poor guide. And so it's an opportunity, that awareness is an opportunity to see a new way, to ask yourself why, and to identify the source of that fear, which will always be an interpretation. If you recognize that everything that you experience actually occurs in your imagination, it's actually something interpreted and digested and reviewed and reconstructed in your mind. If you realize that, then you have more control, because no matter what happens around you, you are in command of what you choose to think about. Maybe not the thoughts themselves and maybe not the feelings, but you're definitely free to choose what you focus your attention on. And if you choose to focus your attention on love or fear, then you get to live a life that naturally comes as a consequence of that choice. I think love is better.